I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we have the LR EZA details for the Kaioken Goku and the Great Ape Vegeta. Two long-awaited LR EZAs by most of the community, right? Hopefully to give redemption to these EZAs. So, unfortunately, with them, a ton of controversy has been brought about. So this video is going to be directed a little bit differently than the way we normally handle these EZA videos. We will still talk about the units, what they're doing, and sort of give my initial assessment. But then I want to spend some time talking about the reaction to these and something that I feel needs to be said about the 10th anniversary. So let's go ahead and let's get the info out of the way. Let's start with Kaioken Goku. So, Kaioken Goku has now been up to All Out Struggle and Final Trump card for Key 4 and 170. Really great deal for LR EZAs. Now, he did keep his entrance animation that can be activated when there's an enemy whose name includes Vegeta at the start of the character's attacking turn. He will get Key 3 and attack 100%. He will receive an additional attack and defense 200% with a great chance of performing a critical hit and randomly changing key spheres of a certain type to STR key spheres. He also receives an additional key 2 per STR key sphere obtained. For 7 turns, he gets key 10 and attack and defense 100%. When attacking with 12 or more key, he will get an additional 159%, and when attacking with 18 or more key, he will get an additional 159% attack. And then for every STR key sphere obtained, he's getting an additional damage reduction rate of 4% with a guaranteed critical hit. Now, as always, right, they do have active skills, and of course, nothing is going to change on the activation condition. It will still, let's see, where is it? Does it? Oh, it doesn't list it. So, all right, active skills probably not going to change. They don't typically change them, so just assume that. But the super attack effect is actually really nice. He massively stacks for 4 turns on his 18 key and greatly raises for the turn on his 12 key. So that's actually really good. This means he's going to be building up quite a bit of defense combined with everything he's doing on his passive. Moving on to the Great Ape Vegeta. Great Ape Vegeta is now Inhuman Deeds and Giant Ape Power for 170% and keeps his entrance animation with any enemy who includes the name Goku. He gets Key 3 and attack 100%, and then on his basic effects, he's getting an additional Key 3 and attack and defense 200%. He also gets an additional damage reduction rate of 20% with an additional Key 1 per key sphere obtained and guards all attacks. With 12 or more key, he gets 160% attack and defense. With 18 or more key, he gets another 160% defense. And then after his guard is activated, he gets an additional 60% defense, attack and defense, and Key 3 for 3 turns. As the first attacker in turn, he has an additional damage reduction of 40% and defense 60%. So 60% damage reduction and guard in slot 1. As the second or third attacker in turn, he gets an additional attack 60% and launches an additional super attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack. He also has effective against all types. His super attack effect is greatly raising attack for the turn on his 12 key and greatly raising defense for the turn on his 18 key. Now, he does have a, let's see if we can pull it up here. He does have his giant form active skill, of course, where the activation conditions will not have changed. However, his passive skill and his super attack effect have changed here. So his passive skill now gives him Key 6 and attack 318%, along with guaranteed crits. He has his 18 key massively raising attack temporarily, causing destructive damage, while his 12 key is greatly raising attack temporarily and causing destructive damage. So this basically means he's going to be one of the hardest hitting giant forms we have. Going to be a really great addition to the Giant Ape Power team with Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So All of that together, what does that tell us about the unit? So let's start with Kaioken Goku since he's here, right? So we got Halvard here in his calc, so shout out to him. Basically, at his bare minimum, for the first 7 turns, right, on his first 18 ki, he is looking at 1.8 million defense with whatever damage reduction you give him. Now, of course, if you get that additional super attack, you're going to be looking at 2.2 million defense with whatever damage reduction you give him. Post super, that is going to be very good, like extremely good. It will tank just about anything normals wise that can be thrown at him. A few of the supers in some of the later parts of these red zones might give him some trouble, but even a 3 million super, which is on average, he's still going to be surviving, right? And so add on to that, right, that's just his turn 1. That's not factoring any support. That's not factoring the fact that he stacks on his turn 2, right? He is 2.7 million with whatever damage reduction you give him, with an additional super, 3.1 million. On his turn 3, he is going to be 100%, right? Because he is massively raising. That is 100% raise, right? So on his turn 3, with his just the 18 ki, he's at, 3 point, let's actually do the math there, right? So right, so he's got 2.7, right? So he's nearing, what is that? A little over 3.5, I think, there, but on the next turn. And then the following turn, he's around 4.5 with those 100% raises. And that's not even factoring those additional super attacks for those turns. So, I mean, and that's also not factoring support, right? On that second turn, on that second appearance, right, with 1 SA effect stack, right, and an 18 and a 12 ki on that second appearance, if you have even the bare minimum of 40% support, which, mind you, most units are supporting more than that now, we're talking 3.5 on that second appearance. Obviously, the first appearance is going to be a little bit more, right? Grazing over the 2.2 million on just the 18 ki. All right. So what does this tell us about his defense? It tells us that he is a... I don't want to use the term glass cannon because he's more than that. He is a cannon that has enough defense to get him to do the job that he needs to do. He is incredibly good for that job. His offense is going to be great, and defense is passable for his function. On the opposite end of things, right, Vegeta is the exact opposite. Vegeta will, outside of his giant form, is probably not going to be doing too much damage, but the opposite effect of that is that he's got guard, he's got 60% damage reduction, and his actual defense stats post-super is, which is not shown here, is going to be a little over 5 million total. Now, this is actually... I have to come back and double check on these because, right, some calcs we did in the Discord showed him around 5 mil defense. But even then, even this with guard and 60% damage reduction is still not a bad stat. So I'm just kind of curious where this is getting pulled from for Halvard here, because we calced it out a little bit higher than that. But it's still good. So that brings us to what I wanted to talk about, right? From the start of this anniversary, almost every EZA that has been released, and we could sit here and we can, hop onto the Twitter search here and just go bonkers looking at all of the tweets, regarding STR Gogeta, AGL Vegeta, Namek Goku, heck, even some of the 10th anniversary LRs. Like right now, if I pull up Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, right, if we search that up, for Dokkan in Twitter, we're going to see a bunch of people calling Super Saiyan 2 Gohan bad. And that's kind of where my problem is. It really seems like no matter what is being released during the celebration is good enough. It really does feel like that. And it's to the point where, honestly, I'm beginning to get a bit frustrated. It just, nobody seems to want to enjoy what's being given here, and to be completely honest, if that's where you're at, where every release is just purely unenjoyable for you, if every release is just not good enough, despite the fact that we have shown consistently that they quite are for the content being released, if that's the way you're feeling about every single release, I honestly think that maybe it might be time to take a break. It might be time to shift your gears to a different game, right? Or at least try to open your mind. From the inception of this channel, which happens to coincide with the 7-year anniversary on JP, we have always tried to show how every unit can have its function, no matter where it is, right? Every unit designed has a function. It can be used somewhere. It's a matter of figuring out, strategizing, and learning how to use it. And it really does feel like all people have wanted this anniversary is just a unit that can plug into slot 1 and let them go to town. And that just isn't what anything released right now is, or was likely ever going to be. Kaioken Goku was never gonna be any more than the canon that he was, even after EZA, right? EZAs always keep the spirit of what they do. Namek Goku was the same way. AGL Vegeta was the same way. STR Gogeta was the same way, right? They almost never changed the entire functionality of a unit on EZA, so I really don't know why people are setting these high expectations for these units that were never going to be these things. It's really causing a really lack of a fun time to be, on Dokkan social media for a lot of people, right? Many people just in the last couple of days have made posts about this. I'm not going to call them out or show them on here because I don't think that that's very fair to them. But I will just say that, a lot of people are expressing this same sentiment. It's exhausting. It's not fun to have every single release treated this way. I'm frustrated, guys. I don't know how else to express this. These units are going to be fun, and we're going to find a way to have fun with them in-game. Coming out on release and just blowing out everybody that tries to say what might be good about it, I don't see where the enjoyment is in that. I really don't. And again, if that's where you're at with every release, it might be time to shift your gears somewhere else. And I hate to be the one to say that. I really don't want to say that, but it's just not fair to the rest of the people who are trying to enjoy the game. It really isn't. And with that, I mean, we don't even have these guys in game. We don't even have these guys in game. Rule number 1 of Unit EZA is always wait till they're in game. 4 freaking times this anniversary alone were EZA details released. And by the time we got to the actual units, minds had shifted. Why? Because as it turns out, the units weren't as bad as all the doom posting was saying on Reddit, on social media, in the Discords, and that the units were just fine. It's just our expectations were too high. And again, it really shouldn't be this way. If your expectation is so high that you can't see the enjoyment, you can't even try to acknowledge what the unit is doing well, then maybe it's time to look somewhere else. I hate to frame it that way, I really do. But I really don't see any other way. It's not fun for me anymore. It's not fun for me to try to have to constantly show that there is a use amongst all the negativity. It's just not. I will continue to do so, right? Because I know that's what you guys want. I know those of you out here watching this video on this channel who have supported me since day one, right? Those of you guys who found this channel, you know what this is about. We're gonna do it. We're gonna show that these guys can have use, but I'm just tired. I'm tired of the arguing on Twitter. I'm tired of the negativity. I'm tired of people being able to just not enjoy what should be the biggest celebration ever in Dokkan Battle. I just don't know anymore, guys. We will see the EZA's in-game here in approximately 2 days, about by the 21st. So hopefully you guys are there with me to enjoy the units. We got both of them rainbow. We're going to have a ton of fun testing them out. And if we're lucky, maybe we'll get to do some stuff on stream with them. So, you know, guys, that is it for the video. Sorry, I had to say my piece here. I'm a tad bit frustrated, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys liked the video, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, I mean, let us know what. Honestly, give me your honest thoughts about these two characters based on what you've read so far. But also, I mean, tell me, am I wrong here? Am I being a little too harsh on the negativity? Let me know in the comments down below. You know, I always appreciate your feedback. So that's it for the video, guys. If nothing else, thanks for watching, and aloha.